On Billboard tonight, a special Academy Awards edition of Film Review, we chat to actress Sara Beasley and follow Stephen Sondheim into the woods. Good evening and welcome to Billboard with me, Ted Stanley, for a roundup of theatre, music, art and literature across the Humber region. And a special welcome tonight to Susie Rees from Swansea and our viewers from Wales. Junction Ghoul, the performing arts centre on Paradise Place, is celebrating its 10th anniversary as a venue for plays, films, music and comedy. Our North Bank correspondents, Graham Oliver and Tony Barker, went to find out more.
Without doubt, it's a career highlight for me. Getting the tools, I've always regarded Junction, this building, as being a set of tools to do a job. And having a venue of this quality with these sort of facilities in a town this size, 18,000 people in Ghoul, is extraordinary. Every town should have one, of course, but I was able to, in my own small way, bring it to Ghoul, which has been a tremendous achievement for me. And the last 10 years have just been reaping the benefits of that, really. What sort of benefits have been reaped by doing this? Because there was already a venue in Ghoul before, so what's changed? What have you brought? What has Junction brought to Ghoul? I think it's brought a number of things. It's a much bigger venue for a start than the old Gate Theatre, so we can attract bigger names, bigger companies. We've got more performance space, so dance is possible here in a way that it wasn't at the Gate. Lovely sprung floor. Local companies, a wide variety of local companies hire us as well, and they can do week-long productions in a space that is really well technically provided for, so that ups their game as well, I think. So yeah, all round the artistic quality has broadened, the profile of the programme has broadened, and of course we can do cinema here, which we could never do at the old place. We've got a comedy chef called George Egg, and he does cookery but with power tools and blowtorches and all sorts of weird implements, so that's going to be a really interesting thing. We've also got our Takeover Festival, which is kind of our highlight of the season for me, where we work with a local school to put on lots of family-friendly events where the children from the school actually choose all of the events and book them themselves. So we're working with Riverside Special School this year, who've been absolutely fantastic and wonderful. It's the highlight of my week, going in there every day. So they've got some great shows. We've got a murder mystery with Tailgate Theatre, Mama Murder, so ABBA-themed murder mystery. They've got some Indian dance from Balbir Singh Dance Company, and they've got some great comedy with a guy called Jay Foreman, who does comedy songs for kids, and they've learned all the words to the songs, and they sing every time we watch the videos, and it's just wonderful. So that's going to be fantastic. Saturday the 9th of November 2019, that is the day, 10 years to the day that the building opened its doors for the first time. So we're having planning a day of activities. Some will be free, some will be paid for. Things happening in the building, outside the building, maybe some film screenings in the week running up to it. So we're still planning that at the moment, but it's going to be a really exciting day of things going on.
You can find out more about all the forthcoming events from junctionghoul.co.uk. Back in the studio, actress Sara Beasley joined me earlier to talk about her latest feature film and her work at the Breakwater Theatre here in Cleethorpes. So, Sarah, thank you for rushing all the way back from Norfolk to see us tonight.
My pleasure.
What are you doing down there?
I'm filming a feature film called Wrecking Ball alongside another local actress, Lucy Sher Cooper from Louth. She's the lead, and I'm playing her mother.
So as well as getting off to do feature films here and there, you're also very involved in local theatre, particularly the Breakwater Theatre.
That's right, yes. A theatre company that I set up with my co-founder Andy Evans 6 years ago. We like to produce scratch nights. Scratch nights being where you take snippets of sort of 10-minute pieces of plays or in their entirety and put on a night of new writing. It helps to give a platform to writers as well as act as a showcase opportunity to show their skills as well.
I understand you've also got a one-woman show coming up there.
Yes.
Yeah. Who taught you into that one?
Oh, that's Andy's.
So tell us about that.
It's about a lady called Elizabeth Shepherd-Jones, quite an influential lady from his part of the world in Wales. She was a children's author and also a regular on BBC Women's Hour in the 60s and 70s.
And how long is it? It's a monologue, isn't it?
Yeah.
How long is it for?
Around an hour. I know. This is going to be a challenge of a lifetime for me.
You'll have to come on another time and give us some tips on learning lines.
If I make it.
So when's the next Scratch Night? When can people come and see these plays?
The next one's on Friday, February the 22nd, at the Albert Room behind Cleethorpes Library.
Great. And have you got any more coming up after that?
Yeah, there's going to be sort of monthly things happening at the end of each month. So the next one after that will be actually on Brexit night, if you want to call it that, March the 29th. So an alternative source of entertainment, if you want to avoid Brexit, it would be to come
to the theatre,
along. Yeah.
Why not? And anything outside the Breakwater Theatre that you're planning to do?
The other thing that's the other exciting project I'm going to be involved with is Clee TV.
Clee TV?
Yes.
So tell me, what's Clee TV?
Clee TV is a local community TV company, and they'll be sort of highlighting arts and cultural events, in fact, anything else really, anything that's of interest in the area, sporting events, musical events, that sort of thing. And I've been asked to sort of present every so often for that.
Great, good. Sounds really exciting. So we look forward to coming to your Scratch Nights and your one-woman show. And good luck with that, Sarah. Thank you for joining us. We are pleased to announce that Sarah is joining the Billboard team, and you'll meet her again later in the programme when she visits the Caxton Theatre. There's a special treat for Stephen Sondheim fans when the Skegness Musical Theatre Company take us into the woods. We caught up with them during rehearsals. Into the Woods is on the 1st and 2nd of March at the Embassy Theatre. Tickets from the theatre box office or call 01507 613 100. Now, I'm not sure there will be any fairy tales in our book review, but I do believe there's a whiff of politics in your choices this month, Hugh.
There is. Well, we're all a bit aware of politics at the moment, but I start with a thriller from Rennie Knight, who gave us The Girl on the Train and Into the Water. Her latest is The Secretary, a tale of loyalty stretched and trust betrayed. However big, rich or strong you are, real power lies with whoever controls the information, and responsibility can be decided by whoever takes the record. This stylish, surprising story tells how a weak, overlooked functionary can turn into the most powerful character, the controller of those who took her for granted. Dangerous Hero is politics. It's an account of the life and politics of Jeremy Corbyn, as researched by the investigative journalist Tom Bower. As the title suggests, Bower is no fan of the Labour Party leader. Corbyn was an obscure figure on the backbenches for decades before his surprise election to the leadership in 2015. For years, he has advocated a left-wing vision of high taxation, high debt, and renationalisation. Nobody much listened until the possibility that he might well be the next Prime Minister. Bower reports on Corbyn's remarkable rise to prominence and the success with which he's withstood coup attempts, accusations of anti-Semitism and suggestions that he's poorly informed on major issues. Boer is clearly no friend of Corbyn, and his book doesn't try to disguise its hostility, but it's an informative, if polemical, insight into the man who might lead the next government. The Mobster's Lament is the third in Ray Celestine's City Blues Quartet, an award-winning crime novels. Set in New York during the 1940s, it's the blackest noir as a gumshoe private eye investigates a series of murders in a Harlem flophouse. A nightclub owner is forced to track down stolen money for the mob, and surprisingly, Louis Armstrong revives his career. It's a gripping novel, full of details of the city, from luxurious wealth to tenement poverty, from the great skyscrapers to the wharves of Brooklyn. And it has every element of its genre, fully in the tradition of Raymond Chandler or Dashiell Hammett. Now, the machines are taking over human civilization. Information technology takes our information, stores it and sorts it, and turns it into a valuable commodity. It's sold to governments or commercial concerns who use it to monitor our behavior and even manipulate our actions. This digital economy is the subject of Shoshona Zuboff's new book, The Age of Surveillance Capitalism. She argues that we face a choice. Either the digital world enriches a few and financially and intellectually impoverishes most of us, or it can share its benefits more evenly. She's persuasive. The choice must be made soon.
Thank you, Hugh. A fascinating collection as always. Other books released this month include the Hammond House Poetry and Short Story anthologies of award-winning writing from around the world, including the winners of the 2018 International Literary Prize.
I began writing, I think, as a teenager, as far back as I remember, writing plays in Irish, actually, in Gaelic. I went to an old Irish school. And I just, in college, I would have written I was part of Dramsoc. And then once I became a teacher, it kind of ebbed away because I was so busy working and getting the classes prepared. And then in the last few years, I've come back to it a bit.
So I started with writing song lyrics, really. So when I was a teenager, I started writing songs on my parents' piano. And I think it kind of developed from there that I've always loved writing short things, especially when I'm procrastinating, writing longer things. So I also write short stories, and right now I'm supposed to write a short story collection. I'll finish it up. And poetry right now is for me like a little escape. So because it's short.
For a long time, I sort of didn't really realise how much of a craft it was. And actually, I think that I'd like to think there is some sort of natural drive and a relationship with words that compels you to explain the world through writing.
The theme for this year's poetry, short story and screenplay competitions is Leaving. And new for 2019, a playwriting competition in association with the Breakwater Theatre Company. The anthologies and full details of all the competitions are available from hammondhousepublishing.com. The spring programme of community arts for East Yorkshire and North Lincolnshire, organised by Artery and Live Links, feature acts from as far afield as Hull and Canada, but also include local performers like the successful acoustic roots duo from East Yorkshire, Mambo Jambo. Tony Barker went to meet them.
We love rural touring. We've done quite a few of the schemes nationally before, around the country in all sorts of places. So it feels really great to be doing Artery this year and Live Links. And I think we've got 6 shows coming up. So we're looking forward to going to the village halls, meeting the community, performing in that setting. It's great.
Yeah, Artery and Live Links, renowned for their village halls and bringing entertainment to smaller communities. What sort of show are you lining up for people?
Well, it should be quite accessible, so all sorts of ages and families we encourage, because we've got such a wide range of instruments between us, I think maybe 12, 15 instruments, and we're covering lots of different styles. People, when they ask us what styles do we play, we often name the instruments and say anything you can play on those instruments, and we'll be telling a few stories along the way and getting people to join in maybe, so...
Very versatile people, aren't you? Goodness, is this something you did while you were young, or have you gradually picked up different instruments over time?
Yeah, we've picked different instruments up as we've gone along. The original thing was just guitar and saxophone, and then banjo came in, and then Frankie learned the clarinet at school, and just picking up instruments one by one, adding them to the roster, I suppose. Yeah.
After the break, our tip to win the Best Picture at the Oscars, writer Jane Thornton has hair envy, and our show has a spicy ending. You can keep up to date with the latest entertainment news on our Facebook page, and to make sure you don't miss any of our programmes, go to www.billboardtv.uk, select TV channel and click subscribe. Coming up on tonight's show, Sara Beasley finds out how the Caxton Theatre got its name, and Janine Ridder has the latest entertainment news. But first, David Wrighton with our tips for the Oscars in a special Award Academy edition of Film Review. Will there be any surprises this year, David?
Well, Ted, 2019 is an intriguing year for Oscar nominations. Will a foreign language film win Best Picture? Will a complete newcomer with no previous experience win Best Actress? Here are our choices for some of this year's Academy Awards. Glenn Close's masterful performance in Bjorn Runge's The Wife earns her our choice for Best Actress. Joan Castleman questions her life choices as she travels to Stockholm with her husband, who is played by Jonathan Pryce, who is slated to receive a Nobel Prize for Literature.
Don't paint me as a victim. I am much more interesting than that.
Don't walk away from me, damn it!
I can't do it anymore. I can't take it. I can't take the humiliation. What are we doing?
Joan, we're not bad people.
I think you are sick and tired of Joe Castleman.
I would like to convey to you the warm congratulations of the Swedish Academy. You have reinvented the very nature of storytelling.
Tell me about yourself. Do you have an occupation?
I do.
And what is that?
I am a kingmaker.
At Eternity's Gate, directed by Julien Schnabel, follows the life of the painter Vincent van Gogh during the time he lived in Arles under Verschuwatz. William Dafoe's imaginative and detailed performance as the tormented artist earns him our vote for Best Actor.
Sometimes I feel so far away from everything. I think I'm losing my mind. Sometimes they say I'm mad, but a grain of madness is the best of art.
Do you believe that God gave you the gift of painting to keep you in misery?
I never thought about it that way. Maybe God made me a painter for people who aren't born yet. Tell me, brother, am I a good painter?
You're not a good painter, Vincent. You're a great painter.
I wanted so much to share what I see. Now I just think about my relationship to eternity.
Despite 8 nominations, including Best Picture, A Star is Born, directed and starring Bradley Cooper and co-starring Lady Gaga, is up against some stiff opposition. It is, however, our tip for the Best Original Song.
All you gotta do is trust me. That's all you gotta do.
Although there are some worthy nominations for Best Foreign Language Film, including Hirokatsu Koida's Shoplifters and Powell Palikowski's Cold War, they will struggle to contend with Alfonso Cuarón's Roma. Nominated in 9 other categories, including Best Picture, Best Director, Best Cinematography, and Best Actress for newcomer Yalitza Aparicio, Roma is our tip to win the most awards at this year's Oscars. Cuarón draws on his own childhood to create a vivid and emotional portrait of domestic strife and social hierarchy as he documents a year in the life of a middle-class family's maid in Mexico City amidst the political turmoil of the early 1970s. All will be revealed, with the usual glitz and glamour and razzmatazz, at Hollywood's Dolby Theatre on the 25th of February.
Established during the Second World War, the Caxton Theatre in Grimsby has recently celebrated its 75th anniversary. Sara Beasley went to find out more about its fascinating history and the latest production, A Foot in the Door, from director Nadine Bennett-Wood.
It started during the war with a company or a play that went round all the Air Force bases. But a guy from the Evening Telegraph, who actually wrote the play, toured it around and then decided to form a company. And he called it the Caxton Players because obviously because of the Caxton printing press, which is the connection back to the newspaper.
Right. Right.
So, we started off in the little theatre, which was much, much smaller than this. We've had to move with the times, and in 2005 we had extensive renovations done. It's a very warm, welcoming environment.
Yeah.
And it's still a little hidden gem. It's still one of those things that people don't know we're here. So everybody out there, come through the doors of the Caxtons.
So now, let's move on to talking about your production then. What's it called?
It's called A Foot in the Door.
Aha. Hence the poster.
Hence the poster with the lady's leg. It revolves around a widow of 5 years called May Archer, who invites all sorts of different salespeople into her home. She's been very downtrodden, and suddenly here she is on her own, and she's able to do whatever she wants to do, and by golly does she.
When I read the play, the character immediately leapt off the page to me, and particularly in Act 2. May, throughout the first act, has given the audience the impression that she's slightly away with the fairies. She's not interested in what these salesmen have to sell. But in Act 2, she absolutely turns the tables on them and proves that she is really astute, and she comes out on top. Which I think is a really clever piece of writing, and that particularly enamored me to the part of May.
It's the type of play, it's suitable for really any age group. I can't extol its virtues enough. I've had an absolute ball.
A Foot in the Door runs from the 2nd to the 9th of March. Tickets are available from caxtontheatre.com. At the East Riding Theatre in Beverley, John Godber is directing I Want That Hair, written by his wife Jane Thornton. Tony Barker went to meet her.
As you get older, you look back at some of your work and you think, oh, there's more I'd like to say about that. And it's not just about hairdressing, it's about two women of a certain age. When I first wrote it, the main, well, there are two main characters, obviously, but the main protagonist, if you like, was turning 40. She's now turning 55. So as I get older, she's, there's lots more issues and things about my life that I'd like to put in it, and I've taken the opportunity to do that. Although lots of the themes and that were in it already were still very relevant, and more relevant in some ways than what they were when I first did it. So you want to go back, revisit things, and sometimes I think...
I suppose that's the issue as a writer. You think as you get older, fresh ideas come in. So what specifically do you think you've changed that you can tell us about?
It's not just wanting to say new things. It's really sometimes reinforcing things. It's saying, actually there's still not very many great parts for women about. That we need more female playwrights, we need more female directors, producers in the theatre. And so, you have to keep, doing it and pushing it. But also in terms of my life, I think you just... As you get older, you feel more invisible. You start to feel a bit invisible when you're 40. By the time you're 55, which is in the play, you really notice it much more.
I Want That Hair runs from Wednesday the 6th of March. Tickets from the eastridingtheatre.co.uk. Now, here with the latest news of what's on where you are, here's our own star of stage and screen, Janine Ridder, with Box Office. So how's the New Year's resolution going, Jean?
Not very well, I'm afraid, Ted. I'm rehearsing for 2 shows at the moment, including the Riverhead Theatre in May. But in the meantime, you can be blow-dried away at Beverley's East Riding Theatre by John Godber's I Want That Hair, a hilarious play showing from the 6th of March. And you'd better practice your Irish jig, because on the 17th of March, East Riding Theatre celebrates St Patrick's Night with the very best of local music, songs, poetry and stories. The Poignant Diary of Anne Frank is at Louth's Riverhead Theatre from the 11th of March. And on the 1st of March, Scratchworks Theatre Company presents the untold tale of the women behind the heist of the century in The Great Train Robbery.
You've seen the headlines, you've read the newspapers, probably gossiped with your neighbour about how they pulled it off. But our story, our version of events, slipped through the media's fingertips and into your laps.
At the Parkway Cinema, Cleethorpes, Classic Theatre Company takes us on a thrilling journey of music from films and shows in Happily Ever After on the 17th of March. If you enjoy your history lessons with a bit of blood and guts, Horrible Histories perform at Grimsby Auditorium from the 6th of March. The Take That experience celebrates 25 years as the #1 tribute act on the 14th of March.
When the world is broke, hard and cold, no one ever knows the reasons why. For the ones we become, for the battles we have won, for the day we reach the sun, gonna play it loud tonight.
At the Hull Truck Theatre, you can see a night of spectacular and inspirational dancing with Emergence on the 19th of March. And Claire Teal and her trio celebrate popular music from the golden age of song on the 21st of March. At the Plowright Theatre in Scunthorpe, Made in Dagenham is a thought-provoking and highly energy musical about women's empowerment in the 1960s motor industry from the 5th of March. And over at the Baths Hall, the Circus of Horrors Psycho Asylum returns with a sensational and scary circus act on the 14th of March. Tributes abound at the Hull City Hall when Big Girls Don't Cry transport you back to the days of Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons on the 9th of March. Or, if the 90s is more your thing, Wannabe, the Spice Girls show, plays on the 15th of March.
If you wanna
Well, that's almost all for tonight's show. You can keep up to date with the latest entertainment news on our Facebook page, and to make sure you don't miss any of our programmes, click the subscribe button below or go to www.billboardtv.uk. If you would like us to feature your own event on Billboard TV, you can email details to news@billboardtv.uk. Our very best wishes from everyone at Billboard TV. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next month with more entertainment news, entertaining guests, and great music.
Everything's free. All you need is positivity.